All right, hello everybody, I'm Bebo, and today I'm here with my friend Raf, and we are going to be talking a little bit about Sea of Legends and the preview sneak peek that he took at the game. So hi Raf, thanks for joining me.
Hey Bebo, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it. I got to check out the game. Pretty excited about it. So
Awesome. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your role in the industry and how long you've been here, how you got involved.
Sure. I started with a podcast about 4.5 years ago. I'm one of the hosts of the Ding and Dent gaming podcast with Charlie Thiel. We talk about a few games every episode and then try to have a kind of more in-depth conversation or discussion topic. We do everything from interviews with designers or industry people to kind of special focused topics about industry things or gaming topics in general. From there, I started writing for a few outlets. I've written for Miniature Market, for Geek and Sundry, for PC Gamer. That's still ongoing. I'm currently the editor of our board game content at a website called goonhammer.com. So coming up on about 5 years in the industry, it's been a ton of fun.
Awesome. So Goonhammer's new, right?
Yeah, the website is relatively new. It's been around over a year. It started sort of as a hobby blog with some really kind of high level articles about Warhammer 40,000 that wasn't really out in that niche, I guess. And in the last year, we've really tried to grow it and expand it. We cover almost everything that Games Workshop does. We've expanded a little bit into board games, like I was talking about, and some video game reviews, and trying to make it a bigger kind of online presence for tabletop gaming in general.
That's fantastic, especially since Geek and Sundry is kind of not operational right now because of everything going on with COVID, which is not their fault. I love them.
Right. Yeah, they're great, but there's only so much we can do, and that's we're having a really strong focus on written articles. Lets us keep doing that kind of in this age because we are not quite as dependent on being able to pull people together for videos and playthroughs and rules explanations and things like that. We're a written word focused website, and we can kind of keep doing that from our quarantine bunkers.
Yep, exactly. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience learning about Sea of Legends and what makes you excited about it?
Sure. So I would say the first thing that jumped out to me about it was that it is a pirate game. A lot of people don't know this, but my username all over the internet is actually a reference to me being super into pirates for a lot of my life in middle school and high school and stuff like that. And it is a weirdly underrepresented setting in board games. I know we have Merchants and Marauders, which is a classic. There's Jamaica. GMT has a Blackbeard game, but there's not a lot of pirate games out there, which is surprising because I think it's super rich for narrative gaming, which is very big right now. So that was sort of the first thing that attracted me to Sea of Legends. And then after checking it out with Guildhall, I think what has made me excited about it is that narrative focus. They seem to have really put a lot of energy into nailing these sort of larger than life mythological element of pirate stories and pirate legend, which was a huge part of pirates themselves. They told stories, they told legends, and they worried about magic and monsters. And so Sea of Legends is really kind of putting that at the forefront of the narrative side of the game, which is definitely the part that got me excited.
And so I am a really big fan of Above and Below. And when they told me that Above and Below was part of their inspiration for this game, I was just like, so what do I have to do to work with you guys? And aggressively weaseled my way in there.
Yeah, I think that's an apt comparison because it, from what I can tell, it seems like Sea of Legends is going to put a lot of emphasis on the narrative that's coming from the app. So they talked about all of the different paragraphs that they've written and storylines that they've written, and it's a huge part of the game. And using the app to have the story change kind of real time based on the actions you're taking and the decisions you've made, and even what NPCs kind of get drawn into the game from the beginning is super cool. One of my favorite games of the last year was Legacy of Dragonholt, and that was a super expansive narrative. And this is able to kind of on the fly change the story based on the people into it, which I think is something that you need to go to an app to do, just because it's too many variables to control outside of that. So kind of taking that to the next level is super cool. That's definitely the part about this game that grabbed me the most and maybe the most interested.
Yeah, and honestly, one of the things that makes me most excited about this game in the first place was simply the fact that I saw the list of writers, and it was incredible people that are my friends in real life. Like Orion Black and Banana Chan and Tanya DePass and Kiana Shaw and Jian Shim, and I was just like, the list goes on and on and on, like Mendez too. And, we also have like random really cool people that I was like, what? How did we get this person? Like Elin Lee, like the designer of Exploding Kittens. I was like, what? This is so awesome.
How did you get that in there? Yeah, it's gonna be great, and I think it's gonna give every story a little unique flavor, which is what's gonna bring you back to it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding is that the game is gonna come with various NPC factions, and you can put multiple of them into the game, and the intersection of each faction with other factions is going to be different. The intersection of which captain you play is going to be different, and it's all going to impact it. So having a varied team of writers is going to make that a little bit better. And I'm really looking forward to seeing kind of the final product and playing through those stories. I'm a big fan. I play board games primarily for the story, not necessarily written narrative, always also games where the story kind of emerges from the play, but I'm big into what narrative is this game telling, and how do I get to be a part of that? And knowing that my choose your own adventure story choices may change someone else's story, or that they need to be paying attention to what I say because it's going to influence their decision. That's cool, and that's kind of unexplored in this board game scene space, I guess.
It is. Well, thank you so much for joining me and hanging out and just chatting a little bit. I just want other people to see like that I'm not the only one excited about this game.
Sure thing. Yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. And, for setting up the preview too.
Yeah.
That was very cool. I was excited to see the team, hear about the games. The previous games they worked on were also pretty cool. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing the final version of this game and getting it out into the wild.
Yeah, and so if anybody else wants to know more about the game, I will list below the Kickstarter preview page and also another link that will allow you to be notified on launch. So make sure you click that link. And Rafi, we'll see you later.
Thanks. Take care.
Bye.